Hey, what's up guys? This is Mark and you've tuned in to Not Quite a Commando, and today we kind of have a cool video. It's all about the Mosin Nagant and how you can change this into this. Now, check it out. These rifles are very cool all on their own. It's kind of like a cheap piece of history. They were used to defend Russia for 3/4 of a century, if not more. Most famously in World War II, you know, Vasily Zaitsev, great sniper, used a Mosin Nagant, killed a whole pile of Nazis, badass stuff. So I decided to pick one of these up because I'm a hobby guy. I like to do project rifles as a hobby and mess around with it because they're really cheap, they're really cool, and they're fun to mess with. So let's talk about what I used to do this rifle build. First and foremost, I used the M9130 Mosin Nagant. Mine is actually a Russian Mosin Nagant. It was made in Izhevsk. And it's a pretty good looking rifle. The stocks and everything were okay on it, but I really decided I wanted to do some cool stuff with it. So here's everything that I used. I'm going to have all this down in the description too, as well as I have an Amazon site where you can go check all this stuff out. I purchased the brass stacker Mosin Nagant scope mount, an NC Star 2x7 or 227x32 pistol scope for the long eye relief, which you're going to need if you mount it on the rear sight aperture. I picked up an NC Star AK and SKS rifle sling that works great, and an Allen Company buttstock shell holder and pouch. And then for the spray job, I used Camo spray paint, khaki, OD green, and black. Krylon makes it, really good stuff, and a Tiger Camo stencil. So it wasn't a hard build by any stretch of the imagination. Admittedly, I'm a novice. I'm not really a gunsmith or anything, but I thought it would be cool to share this with you guys to see what you think. So let's jump into it. I started off by stripping the whole gun down, which is very simple. As you can see, it comes apart in just a very few pieces. You remove the cleaning rod and the metal bands that hold on the hand guards, and then you just unscrew the two bolts. The longer one goes at the top, which I guess you could call the upper receiver, and then the smaller one on the bottom, right behind the trigger, which is like the lower receiver, I guess. Once it was stripped down, I took some heavy-duty degreaser and some warm water, and I got to scrubbing and got all that nasty cosmoline off there. And let me tell you guys, that is a serious pain. But once it's all removed, I took the time and I cleaned the stock down and all of the parts. For the actual firearms parts, which I mean the magazine, the barrel, the bolt, all of that good stuff, I just used some CLP, some break free, and I wiped it down just like normal, just like you're cleaning a gun. Then I took some steel wool and I stripped down the stock. I laid down 2 coats of a primer on there just to make sure it was really good to go. And then I laid down my base color, which was OD green, but you can use whatever colors you want. But once again, I chose OD green. I laid down 2 coats of the base, and then I went over it with my tiger stripe stencil. I hit it with the black, and then I followed the khaki behind it to accent it. And then finally, really to soften it up, I just dusted all 3 colors over the rifle, and then once all that dried, I finished it up with some clear coat. And then kind of the hard part came along, because finally, the brass stacker mount, which is, in my opinion, about the best Mosin Nagant scope mount you're going to find on the market right now. I absolutely love it. It is more than most of them, but I'm going to tell you something. It is so worth it. The whole mount is made out of metal. It's very high quality. Nuttin' Fancy actually has a review about it if you're curious. That's where I found out about it. And in order to install this mount, you have to punch out 2 of the pins in the rear sight assembly. Now, I did get mine out after some serious pounding, but please beware because this happened to me. While you're pounding out those pins, the trigger pin may also fall out just from the vibration, so you need to keep an eye on that. Also, if your Mosin was made after 1940, your pins may be silver soldered in, which means you may have to take a torch to them to heat them up to actually bang them out. I was lucky in the aspect that mine is a 1938 Izzy, so I was safe. I didn't have any solder and I didn't have to torch my rifle, but some of you may have to do that. Finally, after all that hard stuff was done, I installed the sling and I installed the buttstock shell holder, which both turned out really good. All the parts are working out great. I'd recommend all the parts that I used. I'll probably do some individual reviews on the stuff in the upcoming weeks, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it informative. If you have any questions about Mosin Nagants or anything that I did, please feel free to message me or leave a comment. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And be sure to subscribe and like this video, guys. Have a good afternoon.